So I'm gonna do this video. I had a text message conversation with my sister about understanding the nature that my mom has a mental health disorder. We both know that. We agreed upon that. At the same, because this has been a long text message, and it's just this conversation that really basically didn't go anywhere very far because when you are the golden child, my sister is, and then you're the scapegoat as I was. The golden child sees things differently than the scapegoat because the scapegoat basically is the emotional punching bag for the narcissist who is not emotionally stable or mature enough to handle things effectively. And that is something that I had to understand. And what it comes down to is really seeing things from the perspective of the golden child who has a lot of mental trapness that goes on in their heads. The reason why I say this is because the fact that they still are connected with the narcissistic parent. They're still connected to the nature of how the narcissist thinks. They still keep in track of the scapegoat telling the golden child what's going on. And the golden child mimics what the scapegoat does because of the fact that they have no sense of identity of their own. Even if they have like the best PhD or whatever the case may be, they still don't have their own identity because they still take on everybody else's identity, if that makes sense to some people out there. Because the scapegoat basically sees the BS. They know what's really happening. They say something about it, but they're the ones getting blamed for it because the fact is that the narcissist is trying to make sure that they get sympathy from the golden child. The golden child can't do any wrong. They don't want to see things in that nature. Like they can't, everything that they do is never wrong. If they've copied not the narcissist, copy the scapegoat's patterns, it'd be brushed off because they're the ones making the money. They're the ones who it's going to bring in a lot of income. They're the ones who bring in a lot of income. They're the ones who is the trophy child in the family, and they are the ones that they want to see to have to succeed because it's feeding the ego of the narcissist. So when you're dealing with someone like this, I had to understand that my sister and I'm not going to have that full-fledged relationship as long as she's connected to my mom, who is basically, my sister's like the emotional blanket that security blanket that my mom needs. And that is not healthy. I even told my sister that. And if she keeps doing this, what ends up happening is that she is going to develop this nature of codependency that's going to cause more problems down the road. And that's what my sister is. My sister is the nature of the epitome of a codependent child in some ways. And the codependent mother is my mom. My sister and my dad are both enablers of my mom's behavior patterns. I don't enable those things. I try to say, no, I'm not going to accept that. This is why I became the scapegoat, because I won't tolerate certain patterns of behavior that I see that aren't right. Because it's already affecting my life and it's affecting everything else in my life. So what I had to understand is that when it comes down to it, I had to realize that when I'm dealing with the truth and the nature of what's going on, I have to really take care of myself. I have to really take care of my son. I have to take care of what's in my own life. Is it easy? No, but it's about really putting things into perspective. And when you put things into perspective, you see things clearly that, okay, I have to make sure and maintain that level of sanity for my own sake and my son's sake. And there are times I don't, especially when it comes to homework assignments, I tend to lose my shit. But that's a different story for another time because I can't seem to get him to do any assignments that needs to get done. And you know how kids are allergic to assignments. Allergic. But it's very, very disconcerting because if my sister really wants to have that relationship and wants to see face to face, I am not going to do that until she learns how to disconnect from mother, who is still influencing my sister on views and perspective that my mom wants her to see. And that's the thing, she's still like a puppet to her strings. And I've seen this multiple times. I even said something to my brother-in-law way back before they got married. And he still wants to marry him. I'm like, all right, that's your choice, dude. That's yours. I can't do more than that. So I had to understand this. I had to understand the nature that I deal with people who have not maturely grown out of patterns of behavior that they know that they can change but don't want to change. And I had to do the same thing too. I had to do the same thing with my own son. Like, I have to change certain things, and I still get mad with him. I try to get into assignments, and like there are times I'm just like so frustrated. I'm like, I had to walk away before someone gets, hurt. And I've just like, I gotta just get the assignments done. But going back to what I was talking about, when you're dealing with a narcissist, I have video recordings of my mom throwing things at me. I have video recordings of her arguments. I have recordings of with my father. It's a very toxic environment because some people do not want to change it. I'm having a hard time right now, financially speaking, trying to get a full-time job because of the fact that I have the cost for babysitting and everything is so damn expensive. I use what I got to survive in, okay? It's a survival coping mechanism that I had to create to basically make ends meet so I can save enough money to move out. And that's the one thing my sister doesn't understand. Like, she and her husband have done that. She used my mom's issue as a codependent to utilize that to move out of the situation that she is. And she would never admit to that because the fact that she knows what she did kind of in that situation was wrong. She basically was used in her own way as a bully to bully me in some ways, as well as a situation to get what she wants out of the circumstances. And she thinks she's a good person, but she knows that she's not, and I will call her on the bullshit. I've seen this multiple times. I talked to people about this, and they went through the same situation too with their siblings. And yes, that's what she did. As long as you meet the criteria of what the narcissist wants, they will constantly put you in that position of wanting you to see their point of view. They don't really want to see things from a different perspective. And this is why I don't have a really good relationship with my sister, because as the golden child, you can't change their mindset very easily. They're more influenced by the narcissist than you will ever tell them in direct form of really showing them the truth. I did send them that my sister parentifies a lot, that she needs to do more research on narcissism and parentification so she understands the nature that this is what she's doing and it's not healthy, and how to manage that effectively. And I even told her that she does have some issues that have caused the nature. See, as a firstborn, I'm going to say this, as a firstborn, I picked up a lot of traits of my parents because of the fact that I had no other role models. It's like a domino effect. Whatever you learn from your parents, you tend to take on and you do it to other people. Because of the fact that you don't have any sort of real connection to anything else. You don't know how to be a great sister because your role models were your narcissistic parents. And when you have narcissistic parents as your role models, you take on those traits as your own, thinking that is correct, and that's not okay, which projects into the nature of doing the same thing to your siblings. Why? Because the fact that that's all you knew. But the truth is, facts are, that is not okay. I had to learn this the hard way for 4 years on my own, trying to digress and fix all this bullshit in me, And I'm trying to do the same thing not to my son. My son's very resilient. Even if I do something bad to him, he's resilient. But how long does that resilience last? It doesn't last very long. So it's about really taking on and understanding the traits of really seeing things in perspective, that things have to change. The only way it's going to change is when we start realizing that certain patterns of behaviors are not okay. And the only way that's going to change is start acknowledging it and taking conscious steps to break that, So this is why my sister and I don't have a relationship, because as long as she's still being that security blanket for my mother, she's never going to have that relationship that she wants with me. It's not going to happen, because I know that she's going to use what I say and use it with mom. I know that because she'll repeat what I say to her, and I don't need that because it's been happening constantly for the past, I guess, 28, 29 years, maybe a little more than that, since she was able to talk, and my mom started grooming her over time. So this is something that I had to understand, because this is why when you're talking to the golden child has a lot of issues too that she has to face up and own up to, that I have noticed over the years, and I had to unravel. And my sister would never admit to it, but she knows she has done those things too. The cause and effects of everything that goes on. There's always a cause to an effect. And what's the cause? What's the effect? People have to find out find that for themselves. Whatever that is in their own issues and dichotomy. But in my case, the cause of the situation is what I've learned over time based upon my narcissistic parents and what they said about me, which also projected it as energy. Words have power. So whatever you say, it becomes into fruition. Okay, I believe that. But I've seen that multiple times in my life. The words have power and say things, and you embed them. If it's embedded into that child's brain, they think that's true, and they will think that that's who they are. But the thing is that the only way that's going to change if you start believing things differently and start taking into consideration and acknowledge that, you start to realize, holy shit, no, I'm not that person. You have to learn how to get out of that negativity. The only way you're going to get out of negativity is really seeing things for what they are, and really seeing things on how they are, and not just sugarcoating shit because we just want to see things the way we want to see them. No, that's not how it works. You have to face facts, face things for what they are, and start realizing that, okay, something has to change here. How can I change it? Even if my circumstances are shitty. Change the mindset. The mindset is the powerful tool that the universe uses a lot of time. And that energy comes out. And that's something I had to understand. Train the mind to not think like the narcissist. Train the mind to base better off to break that cycle. Train the mind to read things, articles, books, whatever the case may be, that will help. There are a few books that I will recommend that I read when I was like stuck in a situation that really helped me. That I will put the link and put some recommendation down below in my bio in the description box. So the cause of me is that I know I'm getting off tangent. This is why my relationship with my sister is somewhat, it exists, but, and she also says something about me using her, which I understand the nature of that, but it's not, it's basically using them at a sense where you need something for the dynamics of really actually stating what really is, because I don't have the cost for babysitting right now. And the cost for babysitting is so expensive to the point where I'm barely affording everyday activities for my own kid, swimming lessons, tutoring lessons, after school activities that she does. And it's all on me. I pay for that. I never once asked the father of my child for money. But it's like, the reason why I have to ask family for it is because I don't know what else to do. And I can't afford a babysitter for the next like 8 hours or 12 hours at work. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. There's a difference like when you're using someone and you don't get nothing back. There's a difference between where you get something and you do give something back when you had the chance. I make less than she does. She pays bills for the house, okay? She makes more money than I do, and she has a college degree and a graduate degree, okay? See, me, I save a lot of money. I know how to save. So this is why I only save so much, where my money is going towards car repairs because my car is shitty. 2008 Toyota Camry, which is falling apart more times than I like to admit, and I put way too much money on that car. That's where it's going. The money's going. And then my son's activities, you know, it's tutoring lessons, things like that. So my sister can't afford these things with her husband. I do everything. I never once asked the father of my child for money. Never want to talk to him about income because I know what income does. It's just, I don't need more battles with him. But I also realize that I'm doing the best with what I got. And all I ask is for some little help just so I can further my career, to further my own, you know, going further in situations in my life. And this is why I have a hard time. I had to reject 2 full-time jobs because of my current state. And I'm in survival mode, you know? And a lot of people who are in this condition are in survival mode because they're trying to figure out how to navigate their way in their own life in the best way possible, like everybody else. You know, even narcissists go through that. But the thing is, though, I am not as being selfish. I'm just telling, it's like, maybe my sisters called me selfish in the nature of in a text message where don't see from other people's perspective. It's not, no, I do see things from other people's perspective, but I don't make enough to do what you guys do. That's the thing. And that's the thing about people with education. They're educated, but they're not as smart as they make themselves out to be, because they still have a lot of growing to do and a lot of things that they have to acknowledge. And I'm like, I work $15 an hour in 2 retail jobs, maybe not even $15 an hour. One job only pays me $10 an hour, and I'm paying 2 payments, paying off my bills that's what I got. And that's the thing. It's like trying to tell her that, and it's not sticking with my sister. You get what I'm saying? So it's very, very difficult to have any sort of real conversation because they still have that mentality on what they want to see on how things are, but they don't really see it from the other perspective in situation, circumstances. Well, we both agree that my mother needs help and she needs medical attention. But we just can't see eye to eye on many other things at the moment. Realistically speaking, I'm like, you make more money than I do, so you can have this capacity to be with your daughter, plus raise your kids, plus your husband is making money. I'm on my own, doing everything by myself, and therefore don't have a husband because I left his ass because I don't want to deal with this bullshit anymore. And so I decided to do the best with what I got, but asking family for help, which is not a bad thing, but somehow it's looked as upon that I am using family. Okay, that doesn't make any sense to me. This is why it's so warped in the head. Yeah, I use you because of the fact that I need it. It's not like because I want to. If I had money to do it, I would do it. It's like you use dad for babysitting with my niece. I can't do the same thing. That's kind of shows how distorted the view is. Maybe I'll post some things on the community thing, that's by the text message, but there's a lot that goes on, and it's just so much that's happening. So this is what I'm sharing with you guys. This is just why it's so hard to have any real conversation with my current situation. This is why people, even my friend, like one of my friend, Chris, is saying, you need to have a really good conversation. Like, I don't know how else to have a conversation with DC people. I don't know. Like, I've been trying to have a conversation. I've been trying to have any sort of solution, and I don't know what that is. And all I'm asking is for a fucking solution to a problem I don't know how to solve. So it's just, right now, doing the best with what I got. So I'm not trying to play the victim. I'm just trying to figure out a solution, which right now it's not easy to find. So having a conversation with my sister, it's just an ongoing conversation, because she wants to win the argument. And then it's like we both tend to be combative in a lot of times, and because she doesn't want her ego to be bruised, she's not willing to see facts for what they are. And it's very hard. And I told her, if you keep going down this road, your daughter's going to do the same thing like you do, and there's going to be a problem down the road. And I guarantee firstborns, because we have no other role models in our family, the firstborns often pick up traits of their mothers, and the mothers see that, and they may not always like it. The truth is the truth. It's out there. Anyways, I'm going to go. I hope this video helps for those of you who are watching. If you want to say anything that you've been through with it, do so. But I'm going to go. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you in my next video.